So, thus, in this verse, Lord indicates that it is only by the performance of Ananya Bhakti, without the desire to attain anything else other than the Supreme Lord, one will easily enter into spiritual abode of the Supreme Lord. So, that is what is indicated in this verse. So, Prabhupada writes in the purport, in the second paragraph, Prabhupada writes, to enter Krishna's supreme abode or the innumerable Vaikuntha planets is possible only by bhakti, devotional service, as clearly indicated here by the word bhaktya. No other processes can help one attain that supreme abode. Not by any other process such as karma, jnana, yoga, one can enter into supreme abode to become one of the eternal associates of the Supreme Lord. This is possible by Ananya Bhakti. The Vedas also describe the supreme abode and the supreme personality of Godhead. Eko Vasi Sarvaga Krishna. In that abode, there is only one supreme personality of Godhead whose name is Krishna. He is the supreme merciful deity and also situated there as one. He has expanded himself into millions and millions of plenary expansions. The Vedas compare the Lord to a tree standing still, yet bearing many varieties of fruits, flowers, and changing leaves. The plenary expansions of the Lord who preside over the Vaikuntha planets are four-armed, and they are known as by the variety of names: Purushottama, Trivikrama, Keshama, Madhava, Aniruddha, Rishikesha, Sankarashana, Pradyumna, Sridhara, Vasudeva, Damodara, Janardana, Narayana, Vamana, Padmanabha, etc. etc. So all these variety of forms in the spiritual abode can be obtained only by Ananya Bhakti. So this is the prerequisite of Ananya Bhakti as indicated by Lord Krishna and Vedic literatures here. So this is about the glories of Ananya Bhakti that are mentioned starting from verse number 14 all the way up to 22. In between, talking about those who are not devotees, what will happen to them. So any questions till now? Now the section is going to change.
हरे कृष्णा।
हाँ, हरे कृष्णा।
प्रभु जी, जैसा भी इसमें बताया कि ओनली अनन्य भक्ति कैन बाय ओनली अनन्य भक्ति वन कैन अचीव दिस परम गति, परम धाम। बट अर्लियर वी यू सेड के मतलब ज्ञानी भक्त ऑब्वियसली इज नॉट ए अनन्य भक्त, बट ही आल्सो अचीव्स दिस परम धाम, एंड इवन others also they do not do ananya bhakti.
No, this is actually mentioned in later in 18th chapter at the time when Lord Krishna talking at the conclusion of entire Bhagavad Gita. There in 2 verses, Lord Krishna actually gives the proper understanding. What do you mean by only by bhakti one attains me? So in that verse 1853, Lord Krishna says, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati. Samas sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labate param. People who follow the path of Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga, eventually when they reach the Jivanmukta platform by Jnana or Samadhi platform by Ashtanga Yoga, what will happen to them? That is mentioned in this verse. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati. They come to the state of Brahma Bhuta platform, in which they don't think about anything to obtain in this material world, and they don't worry about anything lost in this material world. Samas sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labate param. Then they will see all the living entities as the pure atmas. Then they will get bhakti. The acharyas explain that when they practice the Nishkama Karma Yoga, when they attain the perfection of Nishkama Karma Yoga, then they become qualified to practice Jnana Yoga. When they start practicing Jnana Yoga, they give up Nishkama Karma Yoga. And eventually when they take to Ashtanga Yoga, they give up Jnana Yoga. And eventually when they reach the perfection stage, Samadhi, then they give up Ashtanga Yoga also. That time, what remains for them is only Bhakti. Mad Bhaktim labate param. Then they are only with Bhakti. And then the next verse, Lord Krishna says, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tatvatah. It is only by that bhakti which is remaining alone at the end of reaching the state of samadhi or Brahmabhuta platform. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. They will understand or they will realize me. How they will realize me? Tato mam tatvato jnatva. They will realize me either my feature as Tat Brahman, or they will realize me in my feature as Mam Bhagavan. Tato mam tatvato jnatva. Vishate tad anantaram. Then they enter into my abode as per their desire. Those who want to enter into Brahman, they will enter into Brahman. Those who want to enter into Bhagavan, they will enter into Bhagavan. So this is how it is mentioned for the practitioners of Jnanis, Yogis or Nishkama Karma Yogis. Even though only by bhakti they will understand the Lord in the form of Brahman or Paramatma, or Brahman, Paramatma or Bhagavan, and then they eventually enter into Brahman or Vaikuntha. This is possible only by bhakti. So from that point of view, you have to see only by Ananya Bhakti one will understand the Supreme Lord. Later on in Bhagavatam it tells that by the process of Nishkama Karma Yoga one will understand about Atma. By the process of Jnana and Ashtanga Yoga one will realize about Atma and understands about Paramatma and Brahman. But it is only by Bhakti one will realize Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Realization of Paramatma, Brahman and Bhagavan will be possible only by Bhakti, not by Jnana, Yoga or Karma. That is clearly mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay, any other devotee has any query? Otherwise,
Chiranjeevis that are there, Chiranjeevi. That for how long does that last? I mean, do they also enter into Mahavishnu at the end of Pralaya, or how is it?
No. Chiranjeevi are those people who live for the entire day of Brahma.
Okay.
Those people who live for the entire day of Brahma are called Chiranjeevis. Like currently Hanumanji is Chiranjeevi, Vyasadeva is Chiranjeevi, Ashwatthama is Chiranjeevi. These people are Parashurama is Chiranjeevi. They stay till the end of Brahma's day. So in that way.
Okay. Prabhu, even Lord Shiva enters Mahavishnu at the end of Pralaya?
No, it is actually not about Lord Shiva. There is a feature of Lord Shiva called as Rudra. They all enter into Mahavishnu. So Lord Shiva in this feature, original feature of Sadashiva, might be there always in the Brahman. He actually stays in the Brahman. Sadashiva's abode is there on the outskirts of Brahman. That is Sadashiva Loka. So he is always there. As long as Brahman is there, he is there. But in the material world, Lord Shiva appears in the form of, the Sadashiva appears in the form of Rudras. They all enter back into Garbhodaksha Mahavishnu from that point of view.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, in trance or in samadhi, there is only one where that the practitioner can do the devotional service just like by meditation. So, by their meditation, they can achieve this Supreme Lord?
No. It is only possible by Bhakti Mishra Yoga or Bhakti Mishra Jnana. One can attain the realization of the Brahman or Paramatma or Bhagavan and then eventually the respective destiny. Without Bhakti, just by practicing Jnana or Yoga alone, one will never realize the absolute truth.
But you have told that in that last the trance samadhi stage, then they realized about the Lord. But in the samadhi, they are only one thing that they're doing. They are doing meditating on the Supreme Lord, or what they are doing.
No, I kindly understand. There is something called two things. One is understanding, other one is realization.
Okay.
They get the understanding of Paramatma and Bhagavan, Paramatma and Brahman during the state of Samadhi. But realization will be possible by practice of Bhakti after Samadhi state. That's what is indicated in this verse. Brahmabhuta prasannatma nasochati nakanshati samas sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. Then they will get Bhakti after reaching Brahmabhuta platform. That is after reaching Samadhi state. And by that Bhakti they will realize the absolute truth as Brahman or Bhagavan. according to their inclination.
That means that after samadhi, they will again do this Navada Bhakti.
Yes. One need to do bhakti at that time.
That is very difficult.
No, not difficult. It is very simple. They may not do Navada Bhakti, but they will do third state of Bhakti, Smaranam.
Smaranam. Only Smaranam can do.
Smaranam and Kirtanam. I mean, according to my understanding, I am saying Smaranam and Kirtanam can be done there happily.
Without instruction, they can do.
In the state of Samadhi, one can easily do Smaranam and Kirtanam. If not, deity worship.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, Prabhupada mentioned here varieties of Vaikuntha, innumerable. But Krishna telling which Vaikuntha here?
It is about your desire. Which Vaikuntha one want to go, that Vaikuntha they will go.
According to the desires.
According to one's desire. If one is a devotee of Lord Ram, they will go to Ram's abode. They don't have to go to Krishna's abode and search for Ram.
Okay.
So in that way. Okay. I think we'll go ahead. We have few more verses to complete. Today we need to complete this chapter. So now the next section starts. The Lord has said that the devotees do not return to this world, and those averse to the Lord return. By which paths to the devotees and those following karma karmas travel, so that they do not return or return. So specific path, Arjuna is asking, by what path the devotees does not return, by following what path the others return. So now it is mentioned, yatra kale tu anavrittim avrittim chaiva yogina prayata yati tam kalam vakshami bharatarshabha.
O best of Bharatas, I shall now explain to you the different times at which, passing away from this world, the yogi does or does not come back.
So here Lord Krishna is going to talk about two paths. So one path, by following one path, one does not return. By following the other path, one will return. So who will pass these two paths? What are the names of these two paths? That is elaborately mentioned in the next two verses. So Arjuna is asking question. You have said in verse number 21 that anyone who attains you does not come back. But you have not mentioned about any particular path that the devotees must traverse. So you are told that those who come to me will not come back, but how they come to you, by following what path they will come to you, that you are not mentioned clearly. So Lord Krishna replies, since the devotee is beyond the gunas, his path is also beyond the gunas, not a sattvic path such as going through the sun planet. So basically, the path followed by devotees is beyond gunas. The devotional service is also, Ananya Bhakti is also beyond gunas, and the destination they obtain is also beyond gunas. Thus, they no need to worry about a path. They no need to worry about some time and restrictions. This everything is beyond time, place, circumstances. Their destiny is completely dependent upon Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, they don't have to worry about leaving the body at a particular time, at a particular place, at a particular way. Such kind of restriction does not apply to the devotees, because their path and their destiny are beyond three gunas. So then Arjuna says, no, but I am asking about the path taken by the yogis, jnanis and karmis, who are actually practicing Gunibhuta Bhakti. So what kind of path they are supposed to follow, by following which they will obtain your abode? Then Lord Krishna says, now I will speak about the path of return and the path of no return, that the above three people follow when they die. The jnanis, yogis and karmis, these three people follow two paths. One path is called path of return, other path is called path of no return. So how they are supposed to follow this path, and what are the rules and regulations, and what kind of destiny they will attain, will be explained in the next two verses. So basically here in these four verses, starting from 23, 24, 25, 26, Lord Krishna talks about attainment of the destiny by the followers of Gunibhuta Bhakti, the jnanis, yogis and karmis. which are mentioned and described in the previous 6 chapters 1 to 6. So day destiny is mentioned in these verses. Here Lord Krishna speaks here the path of no return of the jnanis and yogis who are actually Brahmavida, who know about the Brahman. This path is called Devayana. Agnirjyotiraham shukla Shanmasa uttarayanam Tatra prayata gachanti Brahma Brahmavido jana.
Those who know the Supreme Brahman, but that Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery god, in the light at an auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north.
So here, so the process is there. So before describing the process, I'll just read a couple of lines from the purport. So Prabhupada writes in the purport on the 4th or 5th line, he says that if one leaves the body at the time designated above, as mentioned in the verse, either accidentally or by arrangement, it is possible for him to attain the impersonal Brahmajyoti. Mystics who are advanced in yoga practice can arrange the time and place to leave the body. Others have no control. If by accident they leave at an auspicious moment, then they will not return to the cycle of birth and death. But otherwise, there is every possibility that they will have to return. However, for the pure devotees in Krishna consciousness, there is no fear of returning, whether he leaves the body at an auspicious or an inauspicious moment, by accident or by arrangement. So jnanis and yogis have to arrange for their passing away at a particular time in order to get a desired destination. So this verse number 24, speaks about the Devayana, the path of no return, which is followed by the jnanis and yogis who are called Brahmavida jana. The people who are the knowers of Brahma, by following this Devayana path, they actually gachanti Brahma, they enter into Brahman, the impersonal Brahman. This is the yogis and jnanis, they mainly anticipate to enter into Brahman. They want to get Sayujya Mukti. So this is the process following which they enter into that Sayujya Mukti. The jnanis who worship Brahman, who go on the path of these devatas, attain Brahman. The Shruti says, so this is the verse spoken in the Shrutis, Chandogya Upanishad. It says that they reach the deity of fire first. From there they go to the deity of the day. From there they go to the deity of the waxing fortnight. And from there they go to the Uttarayana deity. So like there is proper sequential order how they leave from our place and enter into Brahman. In between, what all the different places they attain, they will see, and how they go, etc., etc. Basically, it is mentioned. Basically, the Devayana is the path of light. They are supposed to leave their body during the daytime, during Krishna Paksha, during Shukla Paksha when moon is bright, if they are living in the night time, and during the 6 months of Uttarayana period, and like that various different things are mentioned. We'll see in the next slide what are all the different things which are supposed to be followed. On dying, such persons who are actually worshipping Brahman by following jnana or yoga, whether they undergo cremation rites or not, they go to the deity of light. So these people who are following the path of jnana or Ashtanga yoga, when they attain perfection, when they leave their body by following the Ashtanga yoga process at a right time, where they will go first? First they will go to the deity of light, the superintendent of deity of daytime. First they go there. So the deity of the light, that is basically the sun god. Then they go to the deity of day, that is also sun god. Then they go to the deity of the waxing fortnight. And then they go to the deity of the 6 months leading to the summer solstice, that is the deity of Uttarayana. From there they go to the deity of the year, and then the deity of air. From there they go to the deity of the sun, then to the deity of the moon, then to the deity of lightning, then to the deity of water, then to the deity Indra, then to Brahma. Indra means they go to Svargaloka, then they go to Brahmaloka, and then at the end of Brahma's day, then they go beyond the 7 layers of the universe. There, a non-human form, for example, Garuda, a personality like Garuda, takes them to Brahman. If they want to enter into Brahman, they will go to Brahman. If they want to enter into Vaikuntha, they will be taken to Vaikuntha. So this is the path followed by the followers of Devayana. It's basically they are supposed to leave their body at an auspicious moment at an auspicious place with their proper selection. They basically supposed to leave their body during the daytime, during the bright fortnight, during 6 months of Uttarayana, from January 14th to July 17th. If they leave their body at that time, their Atma will go through all these deities, all these respective planets, and then eventually go to Svargaloka, then eventually Brahmaloka, and at the end of Brahma's day, they will go beyond this universe. That is where one of the non-human personality like this Garuda or Nanda and other Vaikuntha Vasis, they take this person either to Brahman or to Vaikuntha as per that person's desire. This is the path of the Devatas, the path of Brahman. Those who go by this path do not return to this material world wherein the repeated birth and death is there. So this is about the first path, path of not return, followed by Jnanis and Yogis. Yes, Mataji.
प्रभु जी, देयर वाज अ क्वेश्चन कि आपने बोला डिवोटीज को नीड नहीं है कोई भी स्पेशल टाइम में अपना देह छोड़ने की, बट देन भीष्म पितामह वाज अ डिवोटी, देन व्हाई ही वेटेड फॉर अ प्रॉपर टाइम, पर्टिकुलर टाइम?
Okay, same. From Mahabharata point of view, is a sadhaka who is practicing karma, is actually practicing karma yoga, Nishkama karma yoga, and then he also practicing jnana yoga, and he waited for the right time to set an example how to leave the body. From Mahabharata point of view, he is a karma yogi, Nishkama karma yogi. So you want to set a perfect example for them how to leave the body. But from Bhagavatam point of view, he is a bhakti yogi. He did not wait for Uttarayana, instead he waited for Lord Krishna to come. So when Lord Krishna came, by the request of Lord Krishna, he actually spoke to Yudhishthira Maharaj whatever need to be spoken. Then he left the body, looking at the beautiful face of Lord Krishna.
Okay.
So devotee has a duty to set a good example for the people of this world. Those are practicing karma yoga or jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga or bhakti yoga. So people like personalities like Bhishma, they do all the things together. So in that way.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
So this verse talks about the Devayana. The next verse talks about Pitruyana. So before that it is mentioned. Therefore the devotees go to the Lord by the path served by 12 Devatas. Here devotee means the people who are following Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga. The path served by 12 Devatas. Light, day, waxing fortnight, 6 months leading to summer solstice, year, air, sun, moon, lighting, water, Indra and Brahma, who are following the orders of the Lord. They do not return to the material world having entered into Brahman. So that is what is mentioned in this verse. The liberated souls goes to the Lord through the light, the day, the waxing fortnight, the solstice, the year, air, the sun, the moon, lighting, water, Indra and Brahma, and they do not return. This is the path of not return, followed by Jnanis and Yogins. And the next verse, Lord Krishna speaks of the path of return taken by the karmis. This is called Pitruyana. Dhumo ratri stata Krishna Sanmasa Dakshinayanam Tatra chandramasam jyotir yogi prapya nivartate.
The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the fortnight of the waning moon, or the 6 months when the sun passes to the south, reaches the moon planet, but again comes back.
So this is the path followed by karmis, basically the sakama karmis, who with a desire to go to Swarga and enjoy there happily. So they follow the path of karma yoga, and they follow so many rituals mentioned in the Vedic literature. And eventually the Vedic literature says that they are supposed to leave their body during the darkness, during the night time, during the Krishna Paksha, the dark fortnight, and during the 6 months of Dakshinayana from July 17th to January 14th. By doing this, they will actually go to Chandraloka. That is actually called as Swargaloka, and that is there they enjoy happily the somaras. They enjoy happily by drinking somaras, and they come back again. Yogi prapya nivartate. Having gone there, having enjoyed in Chandraloka, they actually come back. They again come back to this earth. This is the path of karmis, sakama karmis. This path is called Pitruyana. So the karma yogi who goes on the path represented by these devatas attains Swarga, indicated by the words Chandramasam Jyoti. Having enjoyed there, they return. The householders who perform various sacrifices, social work, and charities go to the deity of smoke. From there, they go to the deity of night, the deity of waxing fortnight, then to the deity of 6 months leading to the winter solstice, that is Dakshinayana deity. But they do not reach the deity of year. From the winter solstice deity, they go to the Pita Loka. From there, they go to ether. From there, they go to the deity of moon, Soma. That is basically they enter into the moon planet. They become food for the deities, and the deities enjoy them. So the understanding is, having entered into moon planet, there they will drink the somaras and they will enjoy the devatas of the moon planet. Having exhausted their punya karmas there, they then return to the earth on the path that is mentioned in the Chandoga Upanishad. If you remember the third verse of this chapter, which describes about karma, there we have discussed about the Panchagni Vidya, the 5 kinds of sacrifices and 5 kinds of offerings. Having gone to Swargaloka, then when their punya is over, they will come down from moon planet to clouds, and through rain they come to earth, and they enter into the plants, and they enter into the grains. The grains are accepted by man, and then take shelter of semen. Then they enter into the womb of a mother, then take birth again. That is the path of return, as mentioned in the Chandogya Upanishad. Attaining the planet of the moon by performance of karma karmas through the path protected by 8 devatas, carrying out the orders of the Lord, the deities of the smoke, the deity of night, deity of dark fortnight, the deity of Dakshinayana, the deity of here Pitruloka, ether, and moon. So after their enjoyment is over, they return to the earth. So in a way, the followers of Sakama Karma, how they ascend to Swarga and how they come down to earth, are described here in this verse and also in the verse number 3. Combining these two, we can understand how they are going upward and how they are coming downward. This is the complete path of Karma Yogis, Sakama Karma Yogis. And the previous verse mentioned the path of Jnanis and Yogis, who after following the Nishkama Karma Yoga by the practice of Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga ascend to Brahman. Having reached that Brahman, they will not come back again. Thus, the 2 paths are mentioned which are followed by, one path is called Pitruyana, which is followed by Sakama Karmis. The second path is called Devayana, which is followed by Nishkama Karma Yogis, Jnana Yogis, and Ashtanga Yogis. So thus, various people who are following various Vedic paths are mentioned in these 3 verses. Now the Lord summarizes the two paths mentioned in the previous three verses in this verse number 26. Shukla Krishne Gatiyete Jagata Shashvate Mate Ekaya Yati Anavrittim Anyaya Vartate Puma.
According to Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world.
Continue, Mataji.
According to Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back, but when one passes in darkness, he returns.
So basically, Lord Krishna summarizing the both paths. One is Shukla Gati. Shukla Gati means Devayana, the path of light, following which one will not return because they enter into Brahman or Vaikuntha. This is followed by Nishkama Karma Yogis, Jnana Yogis, and Ashtanga Yogis. The second one is called Krishna Gati. This is the path of darkness or Pitruyana. This is followed by Sakama Karmis. So they go all the way up to Chandraloka. There they enjoy very nicely. So by drinking Somarasa. When their piety is over, then they come down to earth. So thus the two paths are summarized.
हरे कृष्णा.
हाँ प्रभु जी.
प्रभु जी जैसे अभी उत्तरायण का बात बोला माता जी ने.
हाँ.
तो अगर कोई दक्षिणायन में अगर दिन में बॉडी को छोड़ता है तो उस समय भी उसको मतलब वो कौन सा मार्ग माना जाएगा?
उतना डिटेल्स आई डोंट नो. सी प्रभु जी, the particular time and place is not the determination factor finally. The determination factor is the path they practice. Are they practicing Sakama Karma Yoga on one side or Nishkama Karma Yoga and then Jnana Yoga and then Ashtanga Yoga on the other side? That path determines the goal. But as one of the rule of that path, the rule is you have to leave your body at so and so time, at so and so place. That is one of the rule. This is not the final rule. So by following that rule, they may attain their destiny very easily. If, for example, those who are following what is this Sakama Karma Yoga, if they are dying in the night time during Uttarayana Punyakala, what will happen to them? So they will go to Sargaloka only. May not be immediately. They may wait till the Dakshinayana Punyakala comes, then they will go. After 6 months, they may enter into Swarga. So in that way, there may be some delay, but their destiny will not change just by dying in the Uttarayana Punyakala. Or the Jnanis or Yogis, just by dying in Dakshinayana Punyakala, they don't. It is not that they don't enter into Brahman. They may wait for another 6 months without any gross body. Then they enter into Brahman. So there may be some delay here and there. Otherwise, the destiny will not change. Passing away at a particular time is one of the instruction of the entire process. That is not the final instruction.
But Prabhuji, if that is not the case, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, if that is not the case, then why Krishna needs to mention all these parts here?
Because this is supposed to be mentioned in the Vedic literature. That's why it is mentioned in the Vedic literature. Here Krishna is, of course, we have not discussed about this verse completely. Wait, I'll discuss this verse, then we'll see. The meaning is, by the path of light, Shukla or white, because it consists of enlightenment, one attains no return, because the one enters into Brahman or Vaikuntha. But by the path of darkness, Krishna or dark, because it is devoid of enlightenment, one takes birth again and again on the earth. These two paths are accepted to be without beginning. They are called Shashvataya. For those of this world, for those people who are living in this world, who are actually following the path of Sakama Karma, Nishkama Karma, Jnana Yoga. The majority of people in this world generally follow these four paths: Sakama Karma Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. So for their benefit, these paths are described in the Vedic literature very elaborately. And they are qualified respectively for Jnana or Karma, Jnana and Karma. Because samsara, the transmigration of the jivas itself has no beginning. It continues eternally. Shashvata. So thus these two paths are also there eternally in this material world. So for the benefit of all these people, the Vedic literature describes these two paths with certain rules and regulation, and also Lord Krishna kind of summarizing in Bhagavad Gita all those paths. Because now here in the 8th chapter we are discussing the attaining the supreme. So for that reason. So according to my understanding, if one follow these rules, they may attain the destiny immediately. If there is some discrepancy in those rules, they may be delayed to get their destination. So in that way. But the karmis or the jnanis and yogis, they actually follow these rules so that in that particular time only they can leave their body. So they will make sure that they follow this rule. Otherwise, they may think that okay, there is some lack in following the rules and regulations. So in that way.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, those who are sinful people, but if they die in some auspicious day or this auspicious Uttarayan, their gati will like this hell also, hell only.
No. The gati is primarily determined by the active karma only. Karma or the process. The time of leaving determines whether they will obtain the destiny immediately or after some time or delayed.
So even a sinful people also leave their body in Uttarayan.
No.
Then they achieve this non-return path.
No, they will not. How will they will get? Sinful person if he dies in the daytime or Uttarayan time, they will go to Naraka only. They will not go to Brahman.
Okay.
See, it's like if you want to go to Delhi, by catching Rajdhani, how much time it will take to reach? Or by catching Punjabi mail, how much time it will take?
Means one is 14 hours, another is 28 hours.
Like that.
Okay.
By following proper rules and regulations, it is like going through Rajdhani. But you have practiced the entire path, but you left your body at a wrong time, then you will take a little longer time to reach the destination. That's all. But you will reach the destination. So in that way.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
But Prabhupada write that even one accidentally passing in the right time, then also he will attain the destination.
Because I read through the commentaries, I don't know proper understand proper why Prabhupada is writing like that. But one thing is sure, Prabhuji, without practicing any process, without practicing Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, just by dying during Uttarayana time, how can one go to Brahman? That is not logical.
But Prabhupada does write that if by accident they leave at auspicious one, then they will not return to repeated cycle of birth and death.
So this point we need to discuss with senior devotees. I don't know as of now. If as just now Prabhuji asked, if a sinful person leaves their body during Uttarayana Punyakal, will they go to Brahman? I don't think so.
So not sinful, how can they go?
No, they will not go. Na. Same way,